Hey guys, Lance here. Today we'll be changing the spark plugs on a 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee with the V6 engine. First step is to loosen this clamp with the 8mm socket. Okay. Okay, second step is to simply remove this cover. With the engine cover off, there is one more clamp right here that you need to loosen. This one is also a 8mm. Okay, once loosened, you can just simply pull this back a little bit. You do not have to remove the clamp, just simply loosen it. Now, removing this map sensor connector, you just simply push down on the black tab and this whole intake assembly will come out. With the intake hose removed, 3 plugs will be exposed, each of them held down by a 10mm bolt that you will have to remove. Okay, with the 10mm socket, you just want to loosen these up. Okay, with each bolt fully loosened, now you can just simply pull these out. Like so. To remove the spark plugs, you're going to need a special 5/8 spark plug socket. And once you have it loosened, you can just, most of the time, just turn it by hand. And the cool thing about these spark plug sockets is that some of them are fitted with a magnet, such as this one I have. And it'll pull out the socket just like that. Okay. The next crucial step is to properly gap your spark plugs. I will have the proper measurements in the description. Secondly, you're going to want to use a little bit of anti-seize. Place it along the threads. Don't really need too much. And on top of the plugs, a little bit of dielectric grease. And simply reattach the spark plug to your spark plug socket and begin to insert it. One good trick to make sure you're not cross-threading is to turn it the opposite direction as if you're loosening the spark plug, and then slowly tighten it by hand. Always tighten everything by hand. Okay, 2 more to go. Okay, last socket, last spark plug on the passenger side. Be careful not to cross thread. Like I said earlier, you can just simply reverse okay, here we go. Okay, once everything's hand tightened, the torque specifications to tighten these plugs in is 13 foot-pounds. Okay, with your torque wrench, just tighten it 13 foot-pounds. There we go. Oops. Finally, just replace these plugs back onto the socket. And as always hand tighten any nuts by hand. Okay, we're not going to tighten these down yet with a ratchet. We'll get to that step towards the end. Okay, next step you want to do is loosen up two 10mm nuts. One here, and the second one is right there. I'm using a wrench for this step. Now make sure you place these nuts in a very secure spot. Be careful to not drop the nut. I'm just using my fingers at this point. Next step is to remove these bolts here. They are both a size 8. What I don't think that these bolts actually get removed. We're just going to loosen them for now. Oh, that one came out. As did that one. Next two bolts to remove is this one here and this one here. Just be careful to only remove these two bolts. Okay, you need to remove the hose. You can, sorry, it's kind of hard to do while holding the camera, but it's going to be this hose here, right in the center of the screen. I'm going to use a screwdriver to lightly pry it up. Okay, now just put this off to the side. Okay, right in the center of the screen is going to be the next bolt that you need to remove. I will be using a wrench for this next step. Okay, be sure to stow it away safely. Okay, the next bolt that you need to remove will be right back here. Right in the center of the screen. It's kind of hard to see. A ratchet with a extension should suffice. This one is a little cramped to get to. Once it's loosened, hopefully I can just twist it off with my finger. Okay, I'll be using a wrench with a swivel attachment. This bolt is 10 millimeters. Okay, once it's loosened, you can remove it with your fingers. Okay, that was fun. Okay guys, on the driver's side, now where we removed these bolts earlier, hold on, let me see if I can zoom it, focus it. If you follow this down, there's a bracket. It's a bracket attached to it. Really hard to see. But if you just simply follow this bracket down, there is 2 bolts on the bottom of it, and they are size 13. What I used was just a plain old simple ratchet wrench, and once you loosen them, they can come off with just your fingers. That one I loosened. Alright. And the nut is coming right off. Now, where we removed the other bolt, right beneath this air intake, the intake right here, you just follow that same bracket all the way down and you're going to find another 13 millimeter bolt. After removing the nut on the back side of the bracket, it's kind of hard to see, I'm sorry. Where is it? Oh. I can't get it to zoom, but you're going to see this little assembly here. There's going to be a mounting bracket attached to the mounting bracket. I know that's kind of weird to say, but maybe, yeah. Now what I did, I use a pretty long screwdriver just to kind of pry this off. Gosh, I really wish I had zoom on here, but I just simply pry this off a little bit, and I just use just a regular 13 millimeter wrench and just loosen the mounting bolt. Okay, on top of the plenum cover, there's going to be 2 torque screws. The size will be T20. You need to loosen, if not, try to remove. Alright, you can see that it's getting loose now. Okay guys, sorry I didn't film this next part. I took off this hose here. It was connected right down here. You can see there's a clamp on there. Kind of hard to see, but I didn't loosen it by the clamp. I just simply just put I just wedged a screwdriver in there and slowly just took this hose off. And I took the throttle body off because I figure I might as well just clean the throttle body with some carburetor cleaner, or some throttle body cleaner, I'm sorry. And now it's pretty much loose, except I found, hold on, I'm trying to focus. I found a bolt right here. I have an extension connected to it, and I think after this bolt comes out, everything should be able to just come out after that. Okay, let's see if it comes out. Oh good, it's pretty loose now. Needs to come out a little bit more. Oh, good. All right, and it just slides on out. Okay, just like the passenger side, we have 3 plugs. Same exact method, same exact process. Except you gotta take off this little cover here. I dropped one of these earlier. I'm so glad I found it. Okay, with your 10mm socket, you can break these free. Okay. Oops, sorry. Sorry guys, I'm working on 2 cars at once. Tools are kind of scattered. And once you have the spark plugs loosened, they should be able to just come out by hand. It's really hard to pick up on camera, but this is really worn out. Okay, gonna put a little bit of anti-seize on here. And of course a little bit of dielectric grease. Remember to always tighten these by hand and take proper precaution to not cross thread it. And of course, 13 foot-pounds is the torque specifications. Alright guys, pretty much done now. Now it's just, of course, these plugs here, you want to plug them back in. Remember to put these in only hand tight. Now, once you get it tightened down with the ratchet, you just want to turn it maybe just half a turn, maybe even a quarter, and that's all that it really needs. I've seen people break these bolts all the time. All right. While I have this cover off, I thought I'd show you guys exactly where these bolts that you need to loosen. There's going to be one here, one here, one here, one here, and then there's going to be 3 in between these gaps here. Where was the last one? Oh, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but there's one here, there's one down in here, and the last one's here. Now, for the driver's side, there's going to be 2 bolts that you just have to take off, and then this is connected to a bracket on both sides, and down in this area there's going to be a bolt. You just have to simply loosen the bolt. You don't have to take it off. And the same thing for this side, but I took off, there was I believe it's an AC line. It was, a bracket was connected to this bottom bolt, so I took off the nut on the outside of the bracket, pulled off the AC bracket, and then there's another bolt that you need to just loosen. I use a size 13 wrench. It's kind of hard to get to, but it's really not that hard. I guess this job looks a little bit intimidating, but I can assure you that it's not. It's just really a matter of trying to fit your hands everywhere.